This is Jamie Drummond with Good Food Revolution. We are here to film another segment in our Raising a Healthy Appetite series, and I'm here with Chef Albert Ponzo at the Select. How are you today, Chef?
Very good, Jamie. How are you doing today?
Fantastic. Enjoying it's kind of like summer's hanging on, which is nice.
Yeah, it's nice.
So we're here today to speak about raising a healthy appetite. Now, you have 3 children yourself.
Yes.
And you also have what I think is one of the most interesting children's menus that I've seen ever, actually.
Thank you very much.
Would you mind explaining a little bit about the thought process in putting together the menu that you did, the various items on there, and the kind of success that you have with it?
Well, essentially, it's little snapshots of our regular menu. So the idea is to put on not different items so much as per getting children used to eating in a more adult type way or with real whole food. And the dishes themselves are, they're just smaller versions of our regular dishes. Obviously, it's a smaller menu; it's not as big as our full menu.
Could you give me an example of some of those dishes, please?
Yeah, for sure. So over here, I have the menu. There's a little chef on there.
Lovely.
Yeah. So basically, you're looking at like a house salad with all the same types of greens we would use, the same salad that we build from the we don't take our lettuces out of a box. Essentially, we bring them all in separate. We take the heads, we clean them, we wash them, different pickling. So we'll get a smaller version of that. We have our head to tail terrine, which is it's kind of like a head cheese with boudin noir inside, and it's served with like a pigtail marmalade, so hence head to tail, and it's a smaller slice, it's a smaller version, so it's done on a smaller plate. We have the kale salad and so on and so forth. So then the mains, we have like the confit, the salmon. Some are served with frites, some are served with veg, and of course if people want, they can just have it with the veg. But yeah, it's a little different in that sense, where we're not doing anything that's like frozen, like chicken wings or out of a processed box or anything like that.
Yeah, which seems to be the default children's menu for the majority of establishments.
Yeah,
shall we say?
Which is unfortunate, because it's actually very easy to do this. It's all stuff that the cooks have on the line. So when you get an order, you basically just make a smaller version of something that you would normally make for an adult anyway. So.
Now, what are your thoughts about children in restaurants?
Well, it's nice to get them used to being in a restaurant at a young age. It's tricky having 3 children. I know, I've been on both sides of the coin, where it's like stress for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. You're like, I hope they don't do something crazy now. I really hope that. And there's been some close calls, but for the most part, I think it's important to get them used to going to a restaurant, get them used to learning how to put a napkin on their lap, how to use a fork, how to use a knife, how to say please, how to say thank you, and I think those are all very important.
How to tip correctly as well.
What's that? How to tip correctly. Although some restaurants now it's included in the billing, so it gets getting a bit tricky in that sense. So the one thing like that I try to stray away from is like if we go to a restaurant, is just giving them our phone or our iPad and just kind of throwing them there. And it's not that I've never been guilty of doing it, but it's just like it's trying to really get them to understand like the real situation of interacting with humans and enjoying a communal kind of
the joy
dinner.
Of breaking bread and being with other people to eat. Yeah,
exactly.
And it's a thing that's actually missing from so many families. I believe there was a study or a report a few years ago from the UK that discovered that a vast percentage of households in the United Kingdom didn't have a dining room table.
Right.
I don't know if you heard about this.
No, I did not. That's sad.
Now, I think it speaks to the way modern society is to a certain degree, because the most important part of the day for us really was sitting down at, I think it was 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. for dinner with my mum. But I think that's kind of fallen by the wayside for many people with their busy lives, and they don't see breaking bread together as being as essential as it once was.
Yeah, which is totally unfortunate, because it's great for family. And
Now, we've been speaking over the last few months about raising a healthy appetite. How did you go through introducing different varied foodstuffs to your children's diets?
Well, to be honest, it's always been a very relaxed approach. So they would just eat what we're eating. So depending on what we may be having that day, like it could be something simple, like a simple pasta. It could be a steak, or it could be something more complicated or more daring, like lamb brain, like seared lamb brain, or foie gras here at the restaurant. So it was just keeping it relaxed and never really forcing the issue upon them, like whether or not they have to eat it. But also making it clear that, like, well, if you don't like it, we're not going to make a completely different meal for you. It's, go to the fridge and grab yourself something different, and you can help yourself. But that's kind of been our philosophy with my wife Marlise and I. But for the most part, we've had great success. Like, the kids eat everything, and they go through their phases where they like some things sometimes, some things they don't, like for their lunches at school. But having a garden too is really great for them. Like, they'll go out and they'll pick their veggies and they'll just eat them. They'll eat everything: tomato, mint, basil, kale, and lettuces.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. And it's like they see it there and they kind of make that association of what it actually is and where it comes from, and they love fruit, for example. So
it's always a bonus.
Yeah. So we've never given them really like sugary kind of snacks. Mm-hmm. It's always been fruit. So you want a snack, have a fruit, have a yogurt. And
our child's thing right now is seaweed.
Seaweed, that's great.
He loves that. He loves that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but I think he's maybe getting too much iodine.
Okay.
Now, but,
so it's like the dried stuff.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Like
the dulse.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
which is a strange thing for a kid to enjoy so much.
Yeah, it's pretty savory.
Now, how do you deal with one thing that I've discovered since having our boy is if you go into a store, the amount of basically candy that's packaged in a cereal box and then marketed directly towards kids with all these cartoon characters on the boxes and things. How do you avoid not being pulled into that trap or being sort of emotionally blackmailed by your children to buy this absolute crap?
That's a great question. And to be totally honest, I have to say, like, we don't buy those sugary cereals. And when we do go shopping, it's generally like Marlise or myself will go alone, more Marlise. Right.
So you can avoid all that.
So you can avoid that whole, like, scenario. But there is this scenario I do know when I go briefly in the store with them and, like, I'm at checkout and, like, we want this, we want that, we want this. And I'm just like, sometimes, I'll cave and I'll be, okay, fine. Pick one candy each.
Yeah.
But it's, they're not going to have it till after dinner. They're not going to have it till they've eaten everything, this kind of thing. And, it's not like free range on the candy. Like, we still have to, like, kind of dose it out.
I actually have some friends who shall remain nameless, but they bribe their child with candy. So it's like, if you get ready for bed, you can have candy. If you do this, you can have candy. But that means they're eating a lot of candy in any one day, which I don't think is a good thing. Kind of related, less to do with food, but there is a vague connection. The brushing of teeth, how do you deal with that?
Oh, jeez. Yeah, the brushing of teeth is a tricky one. It's funny because my oldest, Gabriel, he can brush his own teeth now, but he still likes me to brush his teeth, which is kind of funny. I used to brush Marcello's teeth, who's their second son, and now he won't let me. So he just wants his mom to do it.
Okay.
So he does it himself, and then mother does it after. So mom does it after. And the babe, like Gemma, who's 2, she's like, she won't. Like, she'll let me do it, actually. Now she will, but for a while she didn't. But we always, the way we do it is, we look for twice a day. So after breakfast, and then before bed. And then the idea is they do it, and then we go over it.
Even if you're giving your child a really healthy, wholesome diet, I've heard some horror stories about children who are not having their teeth brushed properly, but because they're eating lots of raisins or lots of fruit,
Yeah, I've heard that
which
too.
can really, you know, that can cause real problems.
For sure,
So
big tooth decay.
yeah, so I'm trying to be diligent with the toothbrushing right now.
Yeah.
Albert, thank you so much for joining us today at Good Food Revolution. We're going to bring our little guy in to try some of that duck confit sometime soon.
Looking forward
and
to it.
we look forward to catching up with you again in the near future.
Thanks, Jamie.
Bye for now.
Ciao.